The former Game of Thrones star suffered 2 brain aneurysms, the first after filming the first season of the popular HBO series in 2011 and the second in 2013. They were both effectively treated. How miraculous. So, how did this happen? It is quite doubtful that anyone would survive the sickness's ravages. Let's investigate, shall we? Without further ado, let's dive into an overview of Emilia Clarke brain damage. Emilia Clarke expressed gratitude that the 2 brain aneurysms she endured in her 20s did not deprive her of the capacity to live a normal life. The former Game of Thrones star, 35, told BBC One's Sunday Morning that she considers herself fortunate to be able to converse despite suffering aneurysms while working on the Emmy-winning HBO drama. "It's astonishing that I'm able to communicate, sometimes articulately, and live my life fully regularly with absolutely no ramifications," Clarke said in a video snippet from the interview released by Metro. "I am in an extremely small fraction of people who can withstand that," she noted. Clarke stated that a second examination of her brain revealed that quite a bit was missing. "It makes me giggle every time. Strokes are practically gone as soon as any portion of your brain doesn't get blood for a second," she explained. "As a result, the blood chooses a faster other way to travel about, but whatever bit it's lacking is thus lost." A brain aneurysm is a bulging in the artery wall. According to the National Institutes of Health, if it develops too large, it might burst and cause life-threatening bleeding. According to the Mayo Clinic, a ruptured brain aneurysm can produce a type of stroke known as a subarachnoid hemorrhage, which is what Clarke experienced. Moving on, more specifics on the subject. The actor said that the first brain aneurysm occurred in February 2011 after season 1 of Game of Thrones concluded. Clarke, 24, was going out with a trainer when she felt a pain in her brain. "My trainer had to get me into the plank position, and I immediately felt as though an elastic band were pinching my brain," she wrote. "I made it to the dressing room, almost crawling. I got to the bathroom, sunk to my knees, and promptly became violently, voluminously ill. Meanwhile, the pain intensified. Shooting, stabbing, and squeezing pain. In some way, I understood what was going on. My brain was damaged." Clarke was transported to the hospital and diagnosed with subarachnoid hemorrhage. She underwent an emergency 3-hour surgery and experienced agonizing agony, eyesight issues, and aphasia, a disease in which brain injury inhibits a person's ability to speak and write. Clarke recounted being unable to recollect her name at one time. Clarke discovered she had another minor aneurysm on the other side of her brain while recovering in the hospital for the next month. Doctors assured her it might lie latent and be completely innocuous for the rest of her life. However, while Clarke was performing in a Broadway play in 2013, the actor, who had only 5 days left on her Screen Actors Guild insurance, took a brain scan, indicating that her brain's growth had doubled in size. Clarke had an operation to correct it, but it caused difficulties. She eventually recovered and now lives a normal life. Following that, despite escalating case numbers, scientists insist China's deadly Langya virus is not a reenactment of COVID. Scientists say cases of a deadly virus in eastern China don't cause concern, despite comparisons to COVID-19. So far, 35 cases of Langya henipavirus, LayV or Langya, have been verified among farmers in 2 eastern Chinese provinces, with no deaths reported. Langya is a member of the Hendra virus and the Nipah virus families and has been linked to symptoms such as coughing, exhaustion, headaches, and vomiting. It has the potential to produce fatal sickness in humans, but it does not appear to have the same effects. Chinese scientists said in a study published in the New England Journal of Medicine that the farmers had no contact before being diagnosed with Langya and that there was no evidence of person-to-person communication. This means that the newly emerged virus did not appear to be spreading in the same way COVID-19 did in the run-up to the global pandemic. There was no direct contact or shared exposure history among the patients, the researchers said in their paper, suggesting that infection in the human population may be random. Although further research is needed to understand the Langya virus properly, other scientists have echoed the study's findings. At this stage, LayV does not appear to be a repeat of COVID-19 at all, tweeted Francois Ballou, director of the Genetics Institute at University College London, UCL. The Chinese study discovered traces of the Langya virus in 27% of shrews swabbed during the study, suggesting the small mammal, a known carrier of similar viruses, could be behind recent cases. Next up, monkeypox has spread to all 50 U.S. states, with Wyoming confirming a case. Monkeypox cases have now been confirmed in all 4 corners of the continental United States, with Wyoming becoming the 50th and last U.S. state to do so during the ongoing outbreak. Wyoming's health officials said in a statement on Monday that an adult male in Laramie County had become the state's first monkeypox case and that health officials were working to assure that others were not in danger. According to ABC News, the confirmation makes Wyoming the 50th U.S. state to be infected with monkeypox this year, following European occurrences earlier this spring. "We want to prevent further transmission inside our state as much as possible," said Dr. Alexa Harris, a Wyoming Health Department state health officer and epidemiologist. According to the World Health Organization, monkeypox is spread by intimate contact with an infected individual and has expanded to 80 nations worldwide where it is not generally endemic. WHO. This includes the United States, where the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has confirmed 14,115 cases cases since Massachusetts reported the country's first case from the current outbreak in May 2022. In the 3 months, states such as New York and California have seen over 2,500 monkeypox cases apiece, while others such as South Dakota have seen only a handful. According to the CDC, the outbreak has primarily affected gay and bisexual men who have sex with men. However, monkeypox can be contracted by anybody who comes into intimate contact with someone who has monkeypox. Moving on, 300,000 people have potentially fatal cardiac disease, with 1/3 being ignorant of it. According to new research, an estimated 300,000 people in the UK have potentially fatal heart disease, with 1/3 of those unaware they had the silent condition. Aortic valve stenosis is a progressive and potentially fatal disorder, with more than half of patients with severe disease dying within 5 years if not treated promptly. The condition stiffens and narrows the heart's main outflow valve, decreasing or preventing blood flow from the heart to the rest of the body. According to new studies, an estimated 300,000 people are living with the disease. Almost 1/3 of the cases, 92,389 people, had a silent variant of the illness with few symptoms. Scientists have cautioned that those people will only have the ailment caught up if they are proactively checked for it or are undergoing tests for other cardiac problems. According to the study, 35,000 people die yearly from aortic valve stenosis if it is not treated promptly. The findings were published in the journal Open Heart. Over the next 5 years, approximately 10,000 of these fatalities will be among those aged 55 to 64, 30,000 among people aged 65 to 74, and 87,000 among those aged 75 to 84. According to the report, another 48,000 people over 85 would die from the illness. The authors found that severe aortic valve stenosis is a frequent disorder affecting many persons aged 55 and older in the UK. Without timely discovery and intervention, their chances of survival are slim. Finally, John Dean, a former Aston Villa and Norwich City striker, is battling a neurological condition. Former Aston Villa, West Bromwich Albion, Norwich City, and Ipswich Town striker John Dean have been battling a neurodegenerative disease for the past 6 years. Between 1975 and 1990, the 64-year-old performed around 400 top-level appearances, but his wife Linda has now revealed his difficulties with chronic sickness. Linda Dean described how her husband John still enjoys talking about football but has memory problems. Linda Dean requested consideration for the entire family in a moving statement. Now appears to be the appropriate time to inform you that my husband John Dean, former Aston Villa, WBA, Norwich City, and Ipswich Town Centre forward, has been battling a neurodegenerative disease for several years, Linda Dean said in a statement. John's specialist has determined that he has dementia, specifically Alzheimer's disease. At the time, John was only 58 years old. John has both good and bad days. He makes every effort to live and enjoy a normal life as much as possible, but almost every day brings a new challenge. Please don't be afraid to interact with him if you see him at a match or elsewhere. Please understand that while John may not be able to converse as well as he once did, he still enjoys talking about football and sharing a laugh. Please be considerate if he is having a difficult day. Because this disease messes with his memory, he may have difficulty remembering things and signing autographs. Even though things did not go as planned, we continue living to the best of our abilities. Well, that marks the end of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.